So here is why I am bullish for the next 3 to 9 months. So the first thing we need to understand is that markets move in cycles, which are driven by the global liquidity cycle, which is driven by the debt monetization cycle. Now, what is debt monetization? Debt monetization is the process by which central banks create money to purchase government debt, which enables governments to finance their spending without raising taxes. Now, when the newly created money enters the financial system, it flows into financial assets, driving prices up. So in short, debt monetization leads to monetary expansion. Monetary expansion leads to asset inflation. Now, as we know, every cycle introduces a new variable that breaks old models and catches investors off guard, and it is no different with this cycle. In previous cycles, government debt had an average maturity of roughly 4 years, hence the typical 4-year cycle. And this is why there has never been such a thing as the 4-year Bitcoin cycle. The Bitcoin cycle has always been driven by the global liquidity cycle and the debt refi cycle, which incidentally coincided with the Bitcoin halving cycle. This cycle, government debt has an average maturity of roughly 5 years instead of 4 years, which is why we have what looks likely to be an extended 5-year cycle, which looks likely to peak between Q2 and Q4 of 2026. Now, by the way, Raoul Pal, who I know most of you will be familiar with, has gone into this in much more detail. So if you haven't already, I invite you to check out his work. Whatever you do, don't be that person that dismisses him because of 1 or 2 bad calls he's made in the past, or because you disagree with him on his investments. He is, without doubt, one of the best minds when it comes to the macro landscape. And he's also made many good calls, which a lot of people like to conveniently ignore. So anyway, 2026 is likely to be the year that everyone thought that 2025 would be. If this is true, then a lot of people are going to be wrongly sidelined. Last cycle, we had a stunted cycle that was defined by investors leaving or exiting too late. This cycle, we have what looks likely to be an extended cycle that will be defined by investors exiting too early. So that's why I'm bullish. Now, let me just caveat everything I've said with 2 things. Firstly, in the game of investing, you don't need to be directly correct. You need to be directionally correct. In other words, exact timing isn't important as long as you are aligned with the broader trend. Secondly, this is a working framework that will evolve as new information comes in. As you all know, I am not attached to my ideas, as I like to say, strong beliefs, weakly held. So even if things don't play out as I have outlined, and let's say we go into a deep bear market, then I am positioned in a way that I can survive long enough until prices recover. Remember, over time, prices converge with value. On that note, I'm going to wrap this video up. Hopefully this leaves you feeling more optimistic and upbeat about the year ahead. And as always, until next time, remember, the best really is yet to come.